The movie begins at a party, where several young people are drinking and hanging out. One of them, Courtney, is handed a drink by her boyfriend, Evan, who's pressuring her to go upstairs with him. She refuses, and he gets irritated. While hanging out with the group, someone brings up a new app called Countdown, which supposedly tells you exactly when you're going to die. Everyone starts downloading it for fun. Courtney downloads it too. Her phone displays her countdown as just 3 hours to live. She tries to laugh it off and pretend she's not scared, but it clearly rattles her. When she decides to leave, Evan offers her a ride home, but she refuses because he's been drinking, so she walks home alone. At home, Courtney is uneasy. The house seems darker and colder than usual, and strange things start happening. The app sends her a notification: user agreement broken. She begins seeing things, a figure lurking just out of sight, and noises in the house. Meanwhile, Evan crashes his car while driving drunk. The passenger seat, where Courtney would have been sitting if she'd gone with him, is crushed. But Courtney, who avoided that fate, isn't safe. As the countdown on her phone ticks to 0, something supernatural attacks her. She's lifted into the air and killed off. The scene shifts to Quinn, a young nurse starting a shift at the hospital. She meets Evan, who survived the crash but is badly injured and terrified. He tells her that Courtney is dead and he thinks the countdown app killed her. He explains that if you break the user agreement by avoiding your death, something comes for you instead. Quinn brushes it off at first, but later, out of curiosity, she downloads the app herself. Her countdown shows she has just 3 days to live. Meanwhile, Evan is about to get an operation in a few minutes. He checks his countdown app, and it says he has just 3 minutes left to live. He panics, realizing that if he goes under the knife, he might die. So he quickly decides to get up, sneaks out of the hospital room, and heads for the stairwell to escape. But as he starts going down the stairs, he hears strange noises. Something is coming up the stairs after him. Suddenly, he sees the ghostly figure of Courtney rushing toward him. Before he can react, she throws him down the stairs to his death. The next day, Quinn arrives at work. Her colleague tells her that Evan apparently jumped off the hospital stairs and has now died. Quinn is stunned to hear this and immediately remembers seeing his countdown app before. She goes to the morgue, finds Evan's body, and unlocks his phone using the face recognition. When she sees the app, she's horrified to discover that Evan's time really was up when he died. Later, Quinn checks her own countdown app, and it shows less than 2 days left. That evening, she gets a chilling notification on the app: user agreement broken. Scared, she tries to delete the app from her phone, but it refuses to uninstall. Suddenly, she sees the ghost of Evan in her apartment. Terrified, she grabs her keys, runs out of the building, and decides to sleep in her car for the night. The next morning, her younger sister Jordan knocks on the car window, confused and worried about why Quinn is sleeping in her car instead of inside. The two of them go back into the apartment together, moving cautiously. Jordan notices Quinn's phone lying broken on the floor, picks it up, and sees the countdown app displayed on the screen. The next day, Quinn goes to the phone repair store to replace her broken phone. She buys a new phone and also asks for a brand new SIM card. When she activates the phone, she immediately notices that the countdown app has already installed itself again. She panics, realizing she can't get rid of it, and walks out of the store looking clearly stressed. Inside the store, another customer named Matt notices her and asks the store manager what she was so worked up about. Meanwhile, Quinn gets into her car and is about to drive off when suddenly, a ghostly figure grabs her, making her lose control and slam into the car parked behind her. The owner of that car gets out, furious, and starts coming at her, ready to fight. But just then, Matt walks out of the store, steps in, and demands the man to back off. Afterward, Matt shows Quinn his own phone, revealing he also has the same countdown app that she has. Later, the two of them go to a bar and sit down to talk about their experiences with the app. Quinn starts wondering if maybe, by reading the app's terms and conditions, they might find a loophole or a way to break the curse. They convince a drunk man in the bar to download the app just so they can watch and read through the user agreement. But as they read it, they realize it simply states that no matter what they do, they'll still die when their timer runs out. Later, they visit a priest and tell him everything about the countdown app. The priest listens and then refers them to a friend of his, someone more qualified to deal with what they're facing. After that, Matt excuses himself to go to the restroom. Inside, as he's in a stall, someone tries to open the door, but Matt tells them his stall is occupied. When he finishes and goes to wash his hands, he hears someone crying quietly in one of the stalls. Concerned, he asks if they're okay. Suddenly, the lights flicker and go out. Matt uses his phone's flashlight to see, and is confronted by a ghost of his little brother, who lunges at him. When the lights come back on, Matt quickly runs out of the restroom, visibly shaken. Later, Matt and Quinn go to see the other priest that they were referred to. When they arrive at the church, they walk to the back and find Father John there. They explain everything to him about the countdown app and the curse they believe is attached to it. Father John listens and then pulls a book off the shelf that reminds him of what they're describing. He opens it and reads them a story from it. It tells of a prince who was sent to battle. Worried for his life, the prince visited an old gypsy woman and asked her if he would survive the battle. The woman handed him a scroll with the date of his death written on it, warning him not to try to change his fate. The prince agreed, but when the day came, he sent his younger brother into battle instead of himself. But his brother survived and even led the men to victory. Meanwhile, the prince was hunted by a demon of death, which tormented him until it finally killed him on the exact date the woman had predicted. Father John then advises them that, just like the prince tried to cheat fate, they might try hacking the app to change their own dates. Matt and Quinn rush to the phone store and plead with the store manager to help them hack into the countdown app. The manager finally agrees, and when he gets into the code, they notice that Jordan's name is also listed in the app. Quinn immediately asks the manager to change Jordan's date too. After some work, the manager changes all of their dates, making it look like they will now live long lives. Both Matt and Quinn are relieved and happy, believing they've beaten the curse. They leave together and decide to spend the night in Quinn's place. That night, Matt sleeps on the floor while Quinn takes the bed. But as evening deepens, the lights in the room start flickering on and off. Matt and Quinn check their phones in panic, and to their horror, they see the countdown app has reset, returning to their original times. Panicked, they rush to check on Jordan. They find her clearly frightened and shaken, telling them that something was chasing her in the house. The three of them leave and go back to Father John at the church. They show him the hacked code of the app, and Father John translates the Latin text embedded in it. He tells them that what they're dealing with is a curse, and the only way to break it is to keep one of them alive past the appointed time, long enough to outlast the curse. They move downstairs into the church basement and start preparing. They draw a circle of protection on the floor using salt and white paint, creating a barrier the demon supposedly can't cross. As the countdown ticks down, the lights suddenly go out, and the three of them huddle inside the circle while Father John prays. The unseen demon becomes more aggressive, thrashing the room and manifesting shadows. Then it finally appears, trying to step into the circle, but when it does, its foot burns from the barrier, and it recoils. Suddenly, it begins to prey on Matt, manifesting as his dead little brother, calling to him and trying to convince him to step out of the circle. Overcome by emotion, Matt steps outside the circle and instantly, the demon drags him away. A second later, a van crashes into him, killing him right there. Meanwhile, Jordan starts bleeding and collapses. Quinn rushes to her and takes her to the hospital, where doctors begin treating her. Quinn then remembers what Father John said, that someone has to live past their time to break the curse. Quinn decides to sacrifice herself to save Jordan. She grabs a syringe of morphine from a medical cart, knowing it will stop her heart. As she's about to inject herself, the demon appears as her dead mother to stop her, but she injects it before the timer ends and destroys the demon. Jordan then injects her with another injection that jumps her heart back to life, and Quinn immediately wakes up. A few days later, Quinn, Jordan, and their father visit their mother's grave, placing flowers on the headstone and paying their respects. The three of them seem closer now after all they've been through. When they're done, they turn and walk back toward the car together. Suddenly, Quinn sees a notification on her screen. It's the Deadly app, ready for round 2. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe for more notifications. Until next time, see you soon.